In today's lesson, you are going to learn 5 new terms: telemedicine, genetic engineering, telehealth, remote patient monitoring, and precision medicine. You will hear these terms used in a story. So, as you listen to the story, try to guess the meaning. Are you ready? Well then, let's jump right in. Our story for today is the digital lifeline. Here we go. Sarah stared at her smartphone with a mix of hope and anxiety. It had been 2 weeks since her father's heart surgery, and she was about to have her first telemedicine appointment with his cardiologist. Living 3 states away from her parents made in-person visits impossible, especially during a pandemic. "Dad, are you ready?" Sarah called as she helped her father set up the video call. At 68, Marcus Thompson was tech-savvy enough to manage basic smartphone functions, but this new world of telehealth still made him uneasy. "I don't understand why Dr. Chen can't just call me on the phone like in the old days," Marcus grumbled, adjusting his position on the living room couch. "Because with this, she can actually see how your incision is healing and check for any visible signs of complications," Sarah explained patiently. "Plus, the remote patient monitoring device you're wearing is sending her real-time data about your heart rate and blood pressure." The small device attached to Marcus's chest had been a game changer. Since returning home from the hospital, it has allowed his medical team to track his recovery without requiring frequent hospital visits. Once, it had even alerted Dr. Chen to an irregular heartbeat pattern before Marcus felt any symptoms. As Dr. Chen's face appeared on the screen, her warm smile immediately put Marcus at ease. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson. How are you feeling today?" The appointment proceeded smoothly until Dr. Chen brought up a new treatment option. "Based on the genetic testing we did before your surgery, I believe you'd be an excellent candidate for our new precision medicine approach to cardiac rehabilitation." "What exactly does that mean?" Marcus asked, leaning forward with interest. "It means we can customize your medications and therapy based on your specific genetic makeup," Dr. Chen explained. "No 2 hearts are exactly alike, and precision medicine allows us to target your treatment specifically to your body's needs." Sarah was fascinated. "Is this related to genetic engineering? I've been reading about breakthroughs in that field." "Not exactly," Dr. Chen clarified. "While genetic engineering involves actually modifying genes, precision medicine uses information about your existing genetic code to determine the most effective treatments. Think of it as a tailored suit versus altering your body type." The conversation took an unexpected turn when the remote monitoring device suddenly sent an alert to Dr. Chen's system. Her expression changed slightly as she glanced at another screen. "Mr. Thompson, I'm noticing some concerning changes in your heart rhythm over the past hour. It's not emergency level yet, but I'd like you to go to your local hospital for an in-person assessment." Panic flashed across Marcus's face. "But I feel fine." "That's often the case with early warning signs," Dr. Chen explained calmly. "This is exactly why remote patient monitoring is so valuable. We can catch issues before they become serious." Sarah quickly called an ambulance while maintaining the video connection with Dr. Chen, who was able to forward all of Marcus's data directly to the emergency room team. At the hospital, doctors discovered a minor blood clot that could have led to a serious stroke if left untreated. The early detection made possible only through the combination of telemedicine and remote patient monitoring had potentially saved Marcus's life. 3 months later, Marcus sat in his backyard, watching Bird at his new feeder. The precision medicine approach to his recovery had worked remarkably well, with fewer side effects than the standard treatment protocol would have caused for someone with his genetic profile. You know, he said to Sarah, who was visiting for the weekend, I used to think all this new technology was just complicated nonsense. But I wouldn't be sitting here enjoying these cardinals if it weren't for that little monitoring gadget and those video calls. Sarah smiled, remembering how resistant her father had initially been. Technology is just a tool, Dad. It's the human connection it fosters that makes the difference. Marcus nodded thoughtfully. Dr. Chin mentioned they're starting clinical trials for a new heart medication developed through genetic engineering that could help people with my specific condition. 10 years ago, that would have sounded like science fiction. As they sat together watching the sunset, Sarah reflected on how their family's medical journey had changed her perspective on healthcare technology. What once seemed impersonal, doctors on screens and sensors sending data, had become the very things that kept her father in her life. The human touch remained essential, but now it was amplified and extended through innovations that connected people across distances and detected problems invisible to the human eye. I'm signing up to volunteer at the senior center next month, Marcus announced suddenly, going to teach other oldsters like me how to use telehealth apps. Figure I might as well put my new expertise to good use. Sarah couldn't help but laugh. From reluctant patient to technology advocate, her father's transformation was perhaps the most unexpected outcome of all. Now, this story included each of the terms that I mentioned at the beginning, and it was a story about telehealth and telemedicine. You heard each term: telemedicine, genetic engineering, telehealth, remote patient monitoring, and precision medicine. But now it's time for us to dive deeper to understand the meaning of each of these terms. So let's start with telemedicine. What does this term telemedicine actually mean? Telemedicine refers to the remote delivery of healthcare services such as diagnosis, consultation, and treatment. The key is the remote delivery, not in person. You are speaking with someone via the computer or over the phone. Telemedicine. Now check out these example sentences. Here's the first one. Telemedicine has become increasingly popular in recent years. The second example, telemedicine appointments can be more convenient for patients. And finally, telemedicine can help to reduce health care costs. So now we see this term telemedicine. Let's go back to the story and see when this term telemedicine was used. It was used at the very beginning of our story. So let's read that section one more time. Sarah stared at her smartphone with a mix of hope and anxiety. It had been 2 weeks since her father's heart surgery, and she was about to have her first telemedicine appointment with his cardiologist. Living 3 states away from her parents made in-person visits impossible, especially during a pandemic. So now we understand exactly how the term was used, and you know the meaning of telemedicine. Now let's move to our second term. The second term is genetic engineering. Genetic engineering. And when we go back to the story, we see that this term was used in the middle of our story. Genetic engineering. And the sentence was, Sarah was fascinated. Is this related to genetic engineering? Now we need to dive deeper to understand exactly what this term genetic engineering actually means. Genetic engineering literally refers to the deliberate modification of an organism's genome using genetic engineering techniques. Using genetic engineering techniques. So the modification of an organism's genome. So let's check out these example sentences to understand this term even more. Here's the first example sentence. Genetic engineering can be used to treat genetic diseases. Next, Genetic engineering raises ethical concerns about the manipulation of life. And finally, genetic engineering has the potential to improve crop yields and resistance to pests. So we understand this term, genetic engineering. Now let's go back to our story and read the section again that included this term. Here we go. Sarah was fascinated. Is this related to genetic engineering? I've been reading about breakthroughs in that field. So we see and we understand how this term genetic engineering was used in our story. Now it's time for us to go to our third term. The third term is telehealth. Telehealth. Now, when was this term used in our story? It was actually used at the beginning of our story in the second paragraph. Again, the term telehealth was used in this section. And the sentence was, at 68, Marcus Thompson was tech savvy enough to manage basic smartphone functions, but this new world of telehealth still made him uneasy. So now we need to figure out what this term telehealth actually means. Telehealth. Telehealth is the use of digital information and communication technologies to provide health care services. So again, we're not in person, but we need to get information from our doctor. Telehealth, using the computer, using the phone, using your tablet to get information. So let's check out some example sentences. Here's the first example sentence for telehealth. Telehealth can improve access to health care, especially in rural areas. Next, telehealth appointments can be more convenient and cost-effective for patients. And finally, telehealth can be used for a variety of healthcare services, including mental health counseling and chronic disease management. So we understand now this term telehealth. Let's read the section where this term was used one more time from our story. Here we go. Sarah speaking. Dad, are you ready? Sarah called as she helped her father set up the video call. At 68, Marcus Thompson was tech savvy enough to manage basic smartphone functions, but this new world of telehealth still made him uneasy. Now you understand clearly how this term telehealth can be used in real life and how it was used in our story. Our next term, the fourth term, is remote patient monitoring. Again, remote patient monitoring. This term was also used towards the beginning of our story. The section right here, speaking about the doctor, again, remote patient monitoring. So the sentence where this term was used was, plus the remote patient monitoring device you're wearing is sending her real-time data about your heart rate and blood pressure. So now we need to understand, what does this term actually mean? Again, remote patient monitoring. So remote patient monitoring refers to the use of technology to monitor a patient's health status from a distance. The key again, from a distance, monitoring a patient's status, their health status from a distance, using a specific monitor, some tool that has been placed or some apparatus. We call this remote patient monitoring. Here's the first example sentence. Remote patient monitoring can help to prevent hospitalizations. Next, remote patient monitoring devices can track vital signs and other health metrics. And finally, remote patient monitoring can improve patient outcomes and reduce health care costs. So once again, we have remote patient monitoring. Now let's read the section where this term was used during our story one more time. Because with this, she can actually see how your incision is healing and check for any visible signs of complications, Sarah explained patiently. Plus, the remote patient monitoring device you're wearing is sending her real-time data about your heart rate and blood pressure. So we understand now this term, again, remote patient monitoring. And our final term is precision medicine. Precision medicine. This term was used, let's say, in the middle of our story. Precision medicine. And the sentence where this term was heard was, based on the genetic testing we did before your surgery, I believe you'd be an excellent candidate for our new precision medicine approach to cardiac rehabilitation. Now we have to figure out, what does this term actually mean? Precision medicine. Precision medicine is a form of medicine that uses information about a patient's genes, proteins, and environment to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. To prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. It's a form of medicine about a patient-specific makeup. In English, we say precision medicine. Here are 3 example sentences. The first one, precision medicine can lead to more effective and personalized treatments. Next, precision medicine requires advanced genetic testing and analysis. And finally, precision medicine has the potential to revolutionize healthcare. So we understand precision medicine. Now let's go back to our story and read that portion one more time. Here we go. The appointment proceeded smoothly until Dr. Chen brought up a new treatment option. Based on the genetic testing we did before your surgery, I believe you'd be an excellent candidate for our new precision medicine approach to cardiac rehabilitation. Now you see it. You understand each of the 5 terms that were used in our story today. Telemedicine, genetic engineering, telehealth, remote patient monitoring, and precision medicine. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll talk to you next time.